I have 422 friends, yet I'm lonely. I speak to all of them every day, yet none of them really know me. The problem I have sits in the spaces between looking into their eyes or at a name on a screen. I took a step back and opened my eyes. I looked around and realised that this media we call social is anything but when we open our computers and it's our doors we shut. All this technology we have, it's just an illusion. Community, companionship, a sense of inclusion. Yet when you step away from this device of delusion, you awaken to see a world of confusion. A world where we're slaves to the technology we mastered, where information gets sold by some rich, greedy bastard. A world of self-interest, self-image, self-promotion, where we all share our best bits but leave out the emotion. We're at our most happy with an experience we share. But is it the same if no one is there? Be there for your friends, and they'll be there too, but no one will be if a group message will do. We edit and exaggerate, crave adulation. We pretend not to notice the social isolation. We put our words into order until our lives are glistening. We don't even know if anyone is listening. Being alone isn't the problem. Let me just emphasise, if you read a book, paint a picture, or do some exercise, you're being productive and present, not reserved and recluse. You're being awake and attentive and putting your time to good use. So when you're in public and you start to feel alone, put your hands behind your head, step away from the phone. You don't need to stare at your menu or at your contact list. Just talk to one another, learn to coexist. I can't stand to hear the silence of a busy commuter train where no one wants to talk through the fear of looking insane. We're becoming unsocial. It no longer satisfies to engage with one another and look into someone's eyes. We're surrounded by children who, since they were born, have watched us living like robots and think it's the norm. It's not very likely you'll make world's greatest dad if you can't entertain a child without using an iPad. When I was a child, I'd never be home. Be out with my friends on our bikes we would roam. I'd wear holes in my trainers and graze up my knees. We'd build our own clubhouse high up in the trees. Now the park's so quiet it gives me a chill. See no children outside and the swings hanging still. There's no skipping, no hopscotch, no church and no steeple. We're a generation of idiots, smartphones and dumb people. So look up from your phone, shut down the display. Take in your surroundings, make the most of today. Just one real connection is all it can take to show you the difference that being there can make. Be there in the moment that she gives you the look that you remember forever as when love overtook. The time she first holds your hand or first kiss your lips. The time you first disagree but still love her to bits. The time you don't have to tell hundreds of what you've just done because you want to share this moment with just this one. The time you'll sell your computer so you can buy a ring for the girl of your dreams who is now the real thing. The time you want to start a family, and the moment when you first hold your little girl and get to fall in love again. The time she keeps you up at night and all you want is rest, and the time you wipe away the tears as your baby flees the nest. The time your baby girl returns with a boy for you to hold, and the time he calls you granddad and makes you feel real old. The time you take in all you've made just by giving life attention, and how you're glad you didn't waste it by looking down at some invention. The time you hold your wife's hand, sit down beside her bed, you tell her that you love her, lay a kiss upon her head. She then whispers to you quietly as her heart gives a final beat that she's lucky she got stopped by that lost boy in the street. But none of these times ever happened. You never had any of this. When you're too busy looking down, you don't see the chances you miss. So look up from your phone, shut down those displays. We have a finite existence, a set number of days. Don't waste your life getting caught in the net, as when the end comes, nothing's worse than regret. I'm guilty too of being part of this machine, this digital world we are heard but not seen, where we type as we talk and we read as we chat, where we spend hours together without making eye contact. So don't give in to a life where you follow the hype. Give people your love, don't give them your like. Disconnect from the need to be heard and defined. Go out into the world, leave distractions behind. Look up from your phone, shut down that display. Stop watching this video, live life the real way.
I'm stalling. I have a problem with procrastination, and I'm supposed to start the show, and I'm not. So this procrastination thing, whenever there's something I'm supposed to do, I'll do anything other than the one thing that I'm supposed to do, and then I feel bad about myself, and then I get depressed, and then I really don't get anything done because I'm depressed. And I told a friend of mine about this problem, and she said, you should go to therapy. And I thought about it, and I thought, well, wait a minute. Why should I pay a stranger to listen to me talk when I can get strangers to pay to listen to me talk? So that's when I came up with the idea of touring, and I thought, now I have to write a show. So I thought, what do I want to say? What do I want to talk about? So I sat down at my desk, and I was staring at my desk, and I thought, wow, that's dusty. I can't write with my desk all dusty like this. So I went downstairs to get a rag, and on the way downstairs, my kitten was on the stairway playing with a piece of dust or something, and I went to pet the kitten, because they did the thing where they roll on their back and show you the belly, and you got to reward that. You can't pass that up. So I sat down, I was petting the cat for about, I don't know, 45 minutes, something like that. And then I went downstairs, and by that time I'd forgotten why I went downstairs. And I was staring around trying to remember, and I thought, I should paint this room. I wonder what color this is. It looks like a white, but I'm sure there's some fancy name for it. All these people, what kind of job is that to come up with a name for paint colors? You know, all the different color whites, like eggshell or linen or lily or off, all the different ones, you know. And then I thought maybe yellow, you know, canary or banana or smoker's teeth, you know, something that would be... I thought, I've got to write, so maybe if I put music on, it'd be more inspiring. So I went over to the cabinet where I keep all my CDs. You should have seen that thing. Total disarray. Just, oh, everything. Meatloaf was next to the Cranberries, which I thought it'd be funny one night to organize it by food when I was drunk. Really nothing else was in there except bread. And just all kinds of weird, like the Doors and the Carpenters and Nine Inch Nails were together. And that doesn't help anything. So I thought, I've got to organize this. I can't put this off. And so I'm sitting in hundreds of CDs, and the phone rang, and it was a friend of mine. And I said, I can't talk, I'm writing. And so she said, I can't believe you. You're so disciplined. I have such a problem with procrastination. And I said, well, we should go to lunch and talk about that. So we went to lunch, and we were talking about procrastination, and the waitress overheard us, and she said, I have a problem with procrastination too. I said, really? Get my sandwich. And so, but that's when it hit me, that's what I should talk about, procrastination. That's a problem everybody has. That's universal, procrastination. And then I said, oh, who am I kidding? I'm never going to get around to writing about procrastination. And so my friend said, that's why I brought this videotape. If you watch this guy, he keeps you focused, he keeps you on track, you'll never procrastinate again. So about a week later, I'll pop in the tape. I find that if you don't press play right away, something's on TV.
Let's talk about multitasking. As you surely know, kids do a lot of it. In fact, a recent survey indicated that kids spend 7.5 hours each day using electronic devices, and most of that time they're multitasking. Question: does all that multitasking mean that kids today are better at multitasking? Or maybe even that doing just one thing at a time is kind of boring? Well, it is true that older people are not as good at multitasking as younger people are. But that doesn't mean that today's kids are especially good at it, and it sure doesn't mean that they need to multitask. For starters, how do we multitask? Suppose I'm trying to write a history paper and simultaneously carry on an instant messaging conversation with a friend. Attention isn't really shared. I'm switching attention between two tasks. Of course, the way that I write when I'm IMing a friend is different than the way I write a history paper. In other words, when you do two tasks, the rules for doing them are probably different. So when you do two things at once, there's always a cost, because every time you switch attention, you forget where you were in the other task and what the goals were. Switching between tasks is easier if you can keep a lot of stuff in mind simultaneously, or if you're good at redirecting your attention quickly. Now, young people are better at those two things than older people are. No one's sure why. So young people are better multitaskers than older people. But young people didn't get better just by doing a lot of multitasking. Take a kid who says he multitasks a lot, and another kid who says she doesn't. Now bring them into the laboratory and test their ability to multitask. They're both equally good at it. Most important, when your brain is doing something and you add a second task, it always costs you something on the first task. Even just having the TV on as background noise? Yeah, studies show that homework is of lower quality when kids do it with the TV on. Now, music may be an exception, but the data there are mixed. Some studies show that listening to music is just fine. Some studies show that music without lyrics is just fine. And some studies show that music is always bad. The general conclusion is clear. Kids are better at multitasking than adults, but that's probably always been true. There's no reason to think that there's anything unusual or special about this generation. And there's always a cost to doing things simultaneously. If you want to do something well, it's best to focus on one task at a time.